Well, now that Governor Whitmer has relaxed restrictions in the Upper and Lower Peninsula, and our stay-at-home order is expected to end next week, it's time to start thinking about what life will be like post-quarantine.
And here to provide some advice on how to safely re-enter society is our chief health editor, Dr. Nandi. So, Doc, first question, a lot of family and friends probably want to know this, but how do we know if it is safe to actually hug or even touch someone?
Yeah, a lot of folks are asking me that. First of all, I don't want anyone to think that life will be exactly the same way as it used to be, right? It's really important that we move forward cautiously. We certainly don't want the virus cases to spike again. That's really important to understand. Now, as far as hugging people, it really depends on a few things, right? Has that person been isolating at home? Have they been wearing a mask when they're going out, for example, the grocery store and staying at least 6 feet from others? Even then, there's really no guarantee that they're virus-free. And you may think it's okay, for example, to hug if you or the other person was recently tested. But what happens is that the incubation period can be 3 to 5 days. So if a sample is taken too soon, well, the test might not be able to detect the virus's genetic material yet. And lastly, I'd really recommend strongly that you avoid hugging anyone who is elderly or immunocompromised. The risk of them getting sick, really very sick, if infected, is quite high.
So, Dr. Nandi, is it safe to go to the doctor's office for your routine or preventative checkup?
Yeah, it's really a lot of folks are worried about that. So first of all, Glenn, the doctor's offices that are open really will almost always have strict protocols in place. Everyone will be screened for COVID-19 in some way, both the patients and the employees. If you're in a surgical center, for example, doing procedures, surgical and N95 masks will be worn by the physicians and medical staff along with gloves and eye shields. Plus, the offices will be clean, like my office is cleaned and disinfected on a regular basis. Now, as for patients, I'd recommend that you wear a mask. If you can, bring your own pen to fill out forms. Bring tissues. If you have gloves, bring them as well, and you can throw them away after opening any doors. If you're still really worried and nervous about going inside, especially if you're at risk, then you can always ask for a telemedicine appointment. I did some today. And what's important here is that you stay on top of your health, right? Not ignore all your chronic conditions if you have diabetes or heart disease. You don't want that to lapse and give you more problems.
You know, Doc, a lot of people are happy that places are starting to open back up again, but how do we actually decide if it is safe to go in?
That's terrific. You see things opening up, and it's really a good thing. However, there are specific signs that tell you that a business is taking this virus seriously. For example, look for staff and if they're wearing masks. Remember, it's important because the mask will protect you. Next, how much room is there inside? You want to keep at least 6 feet between you and other folks that as you move around. Also, are there social distancing markers to stand or sit and while you're waiting to check out or be served? I'd also look for posters or signs that explains the store's protocols and what you expect once inside. Now, if you eat at a restaurant, right, make sure tables and chairs have been taken out to allow for extra space around diners. You don't want too many folks around you, and also, I don't think you should be eating with friends or family that aren't living with you, as that increases your risk. And as an alternative to sit-down meal, if you're nervous about that, I'd recommend touchless takeout. The less time you spend in one place, the less opportunities for you to be exposed. And remember, we like that restrictions are relaxing, right? But that doesn't mean that the coronavirus is taking a break. It's super important. You always should assume that it could be present in any location that you go to. So be vigilant. Remember what we're talking about, right? Distancing, disinfecting, hand washing, also still important. So let's do all those things as we go out there and enjoy ourselves a little bit.
Yeah, re-entering safely. All right, Dr. Nandi, thank you so much.